When Vashlovani National Park was created by the Georgian government in 1935, it was the country's first effort to protect one of its most diverse and fragile regions. Located in the southeastern corner of Georgia, far from urban environments and close to the borders of Armenia and Azerbaijan, Vashlovani is a place unlike any other. Nowhere else can you find wild secular pistachio valleys feeding into endless badland ridges, or gazelles and bears roaming freely near spectacular mud volcanoes. These unique landscapes are all packed in a small area with a dry and semi-arid climate similar to that of a desert. In the past 3 years, I've spent over 5 months exploring Georgia, and just when I thought I'd seen everything its unmatched landscapes could offer, Vashlovani surprised me. But I can show you much better than I can tell you. The moment I reached the wild pistachio valleys, I was struck by the rich, unique shade of green of the pistachio trees, stretching endlessly across the rolling hills. The whole morning I had been driving through the arid terrain of eastern Kakheti to get there. Before seeing the first hints of green, I had started to doubt the existence of such an area. The wind would shake the leaves of the pistachios, creating this soothing sound that almost felt like a gentle conversation with nature. It's easy to see why pistachios have been considered a luxury throughout history. There's something about their elegance that commands respect, making you appreciate the beauty that thrives even in a place this harsh. In a landscape defined by rugged terrain, these valleys were a surprising oasis. The animals that roam Vashlovani also appreciate pistachio trees. I saw all kinds of birds taking breaks on their branches, and I was told by locals that it's not rare to see bears and wolves taking cover in their shade. The Bedlands and canyons felt otherworldly from the moment I stepped into them. Rugged, alien and vast, the landscape stretched out endlessly, with these unpredictable formations in shades of red and brown. They almost felt alive, like the land was constantly shifting under the weight of time. I had seen Bedlands before, but never quite like this. These were vast, rugged areas that extended as far as the eye could see. Some of the formations resembled waves frozen in place, holding the memory of the sea that once was. Every corner had something new to reveal. Some parts were more green than others, but it was mostly all still very dry, especially in the canyons. The terrain here is mostly clay and dirt, and when it rains, it turns into an incredibly slippery substance, making it almost impossible to navigate. The forecast wasn't favorable, but in my few days there, I was mostly able to avoid the rain, though driving difficulties still emerged from major bumps and cracks in the road. I found myself wanting to explore every ridge, to get lost in the details, even though the arid terrain felt so unforgiving. It's hard to believe that these shapes were carved by nature over millions of years, through nothing more than wind and water. Yet here they are, still eroding and still changing. Despite the harshness, there's life clinging on. Birds soaring above, small plants wedged into the cracks. It's this incredible contrast between the severity of the land and the resilience of life that made it feel so enchanting. The Badlands were harsh, but also somehow inviting. Vashlovani is part of the geological area with the most mud volcanoes in the world, with most of them being in neighboring Azerbaijan, also known as the land of mud volcanoes. There are two main sites, quite different between them. Driving up to the first, the Takhtideba volcanoes, didn't look like anything I had seen before. The first pool was right there at the top, bubbling unpredictably and spilling mud over its cone. The colorful strikes of the mud flows enchanted me. For quite some time, I sat there looking at the strange patterns left by them on the ground. It was a face of nature all new to me. The whole area was stunning, with the Dalis Reservoir shimmering in the distance, surrounded by wide open landscapes. Mud volcanoes are usually created when underground gases push up dirt, water, and various sediments, thus creating mud pools. The pressure translates into these mostly gentle eruptions, but they can sometimes produce larger explosions. The Kila Kupra volcanoes were quite different, black oil mixed with mud, giving the pools a bizarre look whenever they bubbled. The volcanoes here were bigger and more unpredictable. Each one had its own rhythm, oozing with relentless energy. On the dirt, the oil solidified to different degrees. Some of it was dry and hard, resembling tar, but with the absurd temperatures at the time, even the older remains were soft and folding under my feet. This part of Vashlovani is a stone's throw away from Azerbaijan and one of the warmest places I've ever been to. The surroundings here were more in line with the rest of the park. The whole valley stretched out endlessly, with grasslands connecting to the mountains of Azerbaijan. The most creative volcanoes found different ways to expel the mud. Each of them felt unique either by shape, size, or way of flow. There were big volcanoes, creating strange shapes through the contrast between mud and oil, slowly changing over time. Then, some pools were so clear that they seemed filled with water. I would have spent the whole day at the volcanoes, appreciating their beauty, but I needed a break from the sun, and I eventually made my way out of the area and out of Vashlovani, towards more incredible sights of this area of Georgia.